The hallway was dark and silent, the kind of quiet that makes your ears buzz. My sneakers squeaked faintly against the linoleum floor as I crept toward the gym. The science fair had ended hours ago, but I couldn't shake the curiosity gnawing at me. There had been whispers about a project too dangerous, too advanced for public eyes. It had been hidden behind a black curtain at the back of the exhibit. As I pushed open the heavy double doors, the gym stretched out in eerie stillness. Tables cluttered with half-finished projects sat like forgotten skeletons. The faint smell of chemicals lingered in the air, and my flashlight's beam cut through the shadows. "There it is," I whispered to myself, spotting the black curtain. I moved closer, my heartbeat loud enough to drown out the creak of the floorboards. The curtain seemed to ripple slightly, as if stirred by a breeze that didn't exist. "Just a quick look," I murmured, pulling it aside. Behind the curtain was a sleek machine, a mix of polished metal and tangled wires. It hummed faintly, though no one had turned it on. A plaque beside it read, "Interdimensional Gateway Prototype. Keep out." "Yeah, right," I muttered, my curiosity overriding the clear warning. I reached out, my fingers brushing against a panel of glowing buttons. Suddenly, the machine roared to life. Lights blinked in rapid succession, and a low, vibrating hum filled the room. Crap! I jumped back as a swirling vortex erupted in the air above the machine. The colors were impossible, deep greens and purples that seemed alive, pulsating and writhing. For a moment, nothing happened. I stood frozen, staring into the churning abyss. Then the vortex expanded, and something stepped through. It was me. Or at least, it looked like me at first. Its face was identical, but its skin glistened unnaturally, and its eyes were solid black. It tilted its head, studying me with a grin that stretched too wide. Hello?" I stammered, backing away. It didn't answer. Instead, it lunged at me. I ducked, tripping over a chair, and scrambled toward the nearest table. My doppelganger hissed, its movements jerky and inhuman as it stalked me. "This isn't happening," I muttered, grabbing a glass beaker from the table and hurling it. The glass shattered against its shoulder, but it didn't even flinch. Behind it, more figures emerged from the vortex. Students, teachers, even the janitor. All of them had the same black eyes and distorted features. Nope, nope, nope. I bolted toward the gym doors, but they slammed shut before I could reach them. A chilling voice echoed through the room. "Stay and play," it said, overlapping with itself like a broken recording. I spun around, my back against the doors. The creatures were advancing, their forms flickering and shifting like bad TV reception. Think, think, think. I needed to shut off the machine, but the vortex now pulsed like a heartbeat, sending waves of energy across the gym. I spotted the power cable snaking along the floor. "Of course," I whispered. Dodging between tables, I made a break for the cord. One of the creatures lunged, knocking over a model volcano in its path. Molten baking soda and vinegar spilled across the floor, fizzing ominously. I reached the cord and yanked it hard. Sparks flew as the plug came loose, but the vortex didn't stop. "Oh, come on!" The machine let out a screeching whine, and the vortex began to grow. The gym warped around it, the walls twisting and stretching like taffy. A creature grabbed my arm, its touch icy and wrong. I twisted free, grabbing a metal pole from one of the displays and swinging it wildly. It connected with a sickening crunch, and the creature dissolved into smoke. "Stay calm," I told myself, even as the gym filled with growls and hisses. In the chaos, I noticed a panel on the machine labeled Emergency Override. It was behind a wall of wires, sparking intermittently. "Great," I muttered. "Guess I'm going in." I crawled under a table, narrowly avoiding a clawed hand that swiped at my head. The creatures were faster now, more coordinated. Reaching the machine, I tore at the wires, burning my fingers on the hot metal. The override switch was just out of reach. Behind me, a shadow loomed. I turned to see my doppelganger, its grin impossibly wide. "You shouldn't have looked," it said, its voice layered with mine. Before I could react, it lunged. I twisted, slamming my elbow into its face, and it stumbled back, snarling. Adrenaline surged as I reached the override and flipped the switch. The machine let out a deafening roar, and the vortex began to collapse. The creatures screamed, their forms disintegrating into ash. The vortex shrank rapidly, pulling the gym back to normal. For a moment, I thought I was safe. But then the vortex surged one last time, dragging me toward it. No! I grabbed onto the machine, my feet slipping against the polished floor. The pull was too strong, the darkness too close. With a final burst of effort, I ripped the machine's main circuit board free. The vortex collapsed entirely and I fell to the ground, gasping. The gym was silent again, the air heavy with the smell of burnt wires. The machine was a smoking wreck, and the black curtain hung limply in its place. I sat there shaking as the first rays of dawn filtered through the gym windows. "What the hell just happened?" I whispered. Then I heard it. A faint hum, barely audible, coming from the machine. I froze. The vortex was gone, but something else had been left behind. A shadow, flickering at the edge of the curtain, waiting.